Hello everyone, welcome to this review on the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Spider-Man Homecoming figure. That's him in the middle there, fresh off the assembly line. He's just come out in Hong Kong and I purchased him on eBay for a pretty decent price. I was very surprised because, Spider-Man is the character. He's the one everyone kind of wants, and he's probably the most popular comic book character ever, maybe? I don't know. You got Superman and Batman, and those are my kind of guys, but I grew up loving Spider-Man, same as most kids. I loved the Sam Raimi film. I really like Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3, I remember not liking that when I came out of the cinema at all. And that seems to be, since the dawn of the internet and everyone's opinions are right there in plain sight, seems to be the main, opinion across the board for Spider-Man 3. Then there was the Webb films. I forget his first name. Was it Mark Webb? The guy who directed the Amazing Spider-Man movies, with Andrew Garfield playing Peter Parker / Spider-Man. I actually really liked the first one, the Amazing Spider-Man, when the lizard was in it. I thought that was really good. I still like that. I have it on Blu-ray and watched it a couple of times on Netflix too. The second one with Electro was, pretty bad, I guess. It has its moments. There's definitely some great scenes in there. But that was it for the Amazing Spider-Man series of films. We only got 2 of those, but I do like them, and I hope to pick up at least the first version figure by Hot Toys at some point, the Amazing Spider-Man figure. A lot of people kind of mock it and say it looks like a basketball. I think I probably even said that myself at one point, because it kind of does look like a Spalding basketball. But this suit from Civil War / Spider-Man Homecoming is kind of harking back to something we all recognize and love, while also being quite, we know it's high tech as far as the inner workings of it and what it's capable of, but as far as its appearance to us, it's not that far removed from the classic kind of Sam Raimi, very recognizable, everyone knows it's Spider-Man. So I really like this look. So I thought he was great in Civil War, had some really cool scenes with Peter Parker and Spider-Man, especially obviously the airport scene at the big battle in Civil War. And obviously Spider-Man Homecoming, I really like the movie. I think I'm pretty much neck and neck with Spider-Man 2 by Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire, and Spider-Man Homecoming. They're both my favorites. Can't really at this point in time honestly give you an opinion on which one I like the most, but I am very really looking forward to seeing more of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And hopefully we'll get to see the suit again in another movie. I think in Infinity War he's going to wear what we saw at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. A little treat that Tony Stark had prepared for Peter. Looked very, very cool, but obviously miles different than what we're seeing here. But we'll get stuck into a review now. I'm going to try and come up with some poses for you, as many as I can come up with, or as many as I'm willing to do with this thing. I don't want to break anything, but he does seem quite tough. The suit is interesting. I'll tell you all about that. And we'll take a look at all his little accessories and what you do with them, and see what his limits are. And a little comparison maybe with some of the other releases. You've got the black suit, Spider-Man there, and the regular one. So we'll see how it goes, but I hope you enjoy the review. Alright, this is the regular version of the figure. You do get 2 options. You've got the regular version, which is this one, or you've got the deluxe version, which comes with an extra Vulture helmet, a blue hoodie, and a yellow blazer that he wears when he goes to the science contest thing. So let's have a look and see what you get. You get this head sculpt of Tom Holland, Peter Parker. Look at that. That's 100% right there. JC Hong, I believe, was responsible for this. I don't want to get that wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is the man when it comes to the sculpting and painting of these things. Look at that. The life in those eyes. Anyway, we'll get a better look at that on the body later on. I didn't know that you get these 2 things. Are they stickers? I'm not sure. Maybe the back of that peels off and you got yourself some stickers or something like that. But those are the 2 that I have here, and I don't know quite what to do with them. You've got some web action like you usually do with these Spider-Man figures. You've got the kind of wing web stuff. These are just plastic. And there's little magnets. As you can see, those little black tabs. I guess they're the magnets. And then they go under his arms and they stay in place. We'll take a look at that. And he's got these little headphones. They're nice. There's no make or anything on them. And I do like the backpack. It has every little detail, the little black tabs. I think there's a logo missing, but it is very nice. I'm sure the zips probably work. I don't like to go messing around too much, but yeah, there's probably just some sponge in there or whatever to fill it out. The backpack is really nice. The science book, Science Today, has real text in there. Let's go ahead and zoom in. A little read. Now I have noticed it is just the same couple of pages printed again and again, so it's not a full book or anything, but that is a really nice touch. The kind of loose mask here that he can hold in his hand when he's got his Peter Parker head sculpt on, you can just have him holding that. We'll get a look at that soon. The instruction manual does warn you, don't try and put this on any heads. And I don't know if there's a difference between the web shooters that he has on right now and the spare ones. Maybe they're slightly different. Maybe these are a bit more aggressive version, like when he's got his instant kill eyes in. And you've got your hand sculpts, which you can see there, a couple of spare wrist pegs, and the different eyes, which we'll take a look at all of those in the head sculpt in a moment. But yeah, there's your accessories. Let's get that out of the way, because for me personally, accessories is always the most boring part of a review. Let's get on with the posing and the fun. Figure is now on the rotating base. We're just going to get a look as he comes around and get a good sense of all the proportions. You can see so far so good. I mean, everything kind of looks, I mean, the side doesn't look too bad. I think he'd probably have a little bit more going on in his upper torso chest area. Let's have a look as it comes around to the side again. On the front it looks great. Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad, yeah. I mean, he doesn't really have any fat on his body, does he, old Mr. Holland? He's got, you know, a background in dance and gymnastics. He's done a lot of the stunts himself in the film, so it would make sense. I've turned the arms inward slightly to get a bit of muscle. But overall, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Love the vibrant colors of the suit. Really vibrant reds, beautiful blue, the nice black details of the webbing. Do like the proportions. Love the black sort of detail there around. It follows its way down. I think those are more web cartridges, possibly. That would make sense, because that's what's here on his web shooters. Some shots I saw early on at events like Comic-Con and stuff, the neck looked a little bit unsightly where it joins with the head, but it doesn't look too bad in person, depending on how you got it positioned. Tried to get a very straight up and down museum pose here, just so we can really see just the proportions and the overall head to toe look of him. But I've got to say, I'm very impressed, no complaints so far. Very, very happy with this Spider-Man figure. Let's try it with the Tom Holland head sculpt on. Alright, I've got the Tom Holland head sculpt on the body, and I've got to say, it looks incredible. It's so lifelike. It's a bit thoughtful, you know, consequences of being a superhero. He's a young guy, with a lot to learn, very eager, very enthusiastic. Great little actor, doing a really good job, and I can't wait to see more. But Hot Toys, JC Hong, anyone involved in bringing this to life have done an incredible job. Look at that, even the hair. Look at that, that's amazing. Really nice touch that they gave you the loose mask. I am really impressed. Just make it a little bit darker for you. Look at that, it's so lifelike. I guess it just kind of makes the proportions make even more sense when you got the Tom Holland head sculpt on. It just really looks like that would be his body. That's amazing. I'll stop him rotating. We'll get a good look at that head sculpt close up. I think that's the next move. Right there. That looks ridiculously real. Excellent figure. I've seen people saying that they're cancelling because the suit's wrinkling when it poses and stuff. Come on, man. I ain't even going to dignify that. That's ridiculous. It's an action figure. It just happens to be a very realistic looking action figure. But it's still an action figure. You know, I mean, suit's going to wrinkle when you move it. Don't leave it like that for too long and it'll just work itself out and go back to normal. Look at that. Look at that. I know I keep saying it, but just look at the damn thing. It's ridiculously good. Is it the best Hot Toys Spider-Man figure made to date? Maybe. Looks like it to me so far. I'll call it at the end. But right now it's looking like a very likely yes. God damn. Might not be into this, but his head sculpt does tend to kind of fall about the place if you don't have it on the body and you still want to kind of display it on the base. So he has really good balance in the ankles. They're nice and stiff, and the rod, when you take it out, leaves that little base section, and the head just goes on there a treat. I don't know, but that's one way of displaying the head sculpt, I guess. I do want to say this is the only time I've ever been very tempted to display a Spider-Man figure with the Peter Parker head sculpt rather than the full Spider-Man look. We've been able to do that before, obviously, with the black suit there and the Tobey Maguire head sculpt. But Tobey Maguire, you know, obviously he goes a bit dark in part 3, or emo, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there was certainly some cringe-worthy moments in that movie, but even though he did look a bit grumpy at certain points in that film, that is not the kind of look you'd associate with the Tobey Maguire we sort of know from that trilogy. So I didn't really tend to use it much. It just stayed in a goodie bag. And as I pan over to this guy again, it just hits me how realistic that looks. It's really, really amazing. The hair color's really good as well, because Tom Holland's hair has some different kind of shades going on. Some much more kind of lighter browns hidden amongst the darker areas, but they've done a fantastic job. But I just wanted to say I am seriously tempted to display him for a little while with the Tom Holland head sculpt. It's just ridiculously good. Alright, let's take a good look at the head sculpt. I'm going to get in nice and close here. You see all the freckles, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, really subtle work, but just amazing. The eyes this time around, I mean, the eyes of Hot Toys are always great, but it's just something about this one, man. It's a home run. Absolutely awesome. The mouth is even ever so slightly open, it looks like. Or no, it's just the way it's been sculpted and painted. But it made me think it was. Let me just come back a little bit. See that? That is insane. That is so good. Look, even the little wrinkles in his lips there. See the bottom lip? Look at that detail. He's even got a little bit of funk in the corner of his mouth from where he's been eating a sandwich. Next level. Let's take a look at the back of his head. So look at that hair sculpt. Paint job. Look how nicely it transitions into the suit. I know you're supposed to be able to see part of his neck here, but for whatever reason, I'm sure it was a good one, I'm not just going to call it laziness. I'm sure there was some, technical shenanigans going on that prevented that from being a reality for the end product. What a head sculpt. You'll see a lot more of this in the showcase video and more poses. Try and get some real close-up shots of those crazy eyes. Crazy realistic. Amazing work. I was curious to see how... Whoa! Curious to see the height difference between these two, so that, they're kind of standing near enough. You get the idea. So Tobey Maguire, bigger figure, bigger guy, I think, in real life. He was older too. People often joke that he was in his 30s playing a teenager in the movie, but I'm not too sure how old he was when he was, in the first one at least. And that's how he looks, next to Tom Holland. So, I mean, midsection wise, they seem to be near enough, and then, yeah, chest is in line with each other. Shoulders are close enough. Let me just get him. There you go. Yeah, there's not much in it. There's enough in it for it to be, there is a little bit of a difference there. So if you're going to be swapping around heads, like I showed in a previous video, I swapped the two heads around. It did look pretty good with Tom Holland's head on the black suit. That did look cool. And Tobey Maguire's head on this new suit looked okay as well, but I think it's a little bit oversized. Although, I can't say it looks like his head sculpt is any smaller or bigger than this one, really. I mean, they got different shaped face, but doesn't seem to be that much in it. His little web wing thingies are magnetized. Well, they connect just under there. They're a bit fiddly, and the slightest movement and it'll kind of just drop away. But if you work at it enough, I suppose you could come up with a display option using these. I won't be doing that myself because it requires him to, have his arms out like this constantly. And I wouldn't want to have permanent wrinkles in the suit. The instruction manual does actually warn you no extreme poses for long periods of time with this guy, because it may indeed damage the suit. And I can believe that because that's what happened with my Black Panther. Yeah, that's about as exciting as that gets right there. You suppose you could have him hanging upside down, like he was in the film reading his book with the wings showing. I don't know. You can make it work. I just wanted to show you at least what it looked like. Pretty nice. Definitely cool that they included it. So you can see they just kind of stick on there. It's just a bit fiddly. It's just, yeah. Screw that. So, Spidey, how do you think you're going to fit into the collection? Yeah, pretty good, I reckon. You sound just like me. Yeah, I couldn't be bothered to do an American accent. You're not American. You're Tom Holland. You're English. Yep. Well, is there anyone in the collection you'd really like to meet? Not particularly. I'm kind of a loner. I don't really mix well with others, if you know what I mean. Yeah, well, Oh, hello, Deadpool. Hey, you sound like me too. Yeah, I know. So what? Hey, Spidey. Hey, Mr. Deadpool. Big fan. Really? Do you like my hat? I did, but then you got all up in my face and knocked it off your head, and now you don't have a hat anymore. Yeah, that's true. I'm Deadpool. I'm awesome. New movie's coming out this year. Should be good. Yeah, I might have I got a new movie coming out this year too. It's called Infinity War. It's gonna be way bigger than your movie. Oh yeah? Yeah. Okay, we'll see. We will see. That's what I said. That's what I said too. Well then. Oh shit. Okay, I've been messing around doing some poses, and I just wanted to point out I really like the way the wrist matches up with the glove, as in the web shooter's really nicely done. Covers up the joints nicely and looks good. That's the main thing. I also just want to point out, I don't think that I got a little magnet to remove these eyes in my box. I double checked. I couldn't find one in the box anywhere, and I know you get one with Deadpool because I have Deadpool. He's got magnetic interchangeable eyes, just like this Spider-Man does, but that one came with a magnet to help you remove them, and I definitely did not get one with this, and it is really difficult to try and get this out with your fingernail, and also quite nerve-wracking because you don't want to damage the mask. So you've got to just, try and find another magnet. I tried the Deadpool one and it doesn't work. It's the opposite. So as you're pushing it towards the eye, it's kind of like pushing away. So I don't know. It's not easy interchanging these eyes without that tool. But yeah, I'd be curious to know if anyone else has one, or maybe I'm just missing, or maybe I lost it. Who knows? So far I've done quite a few poses with him, some of them quite extreme as far as leg bends and elbow bends and torso, the whole deal. I've done pretty much everything to him now, and when you first put him back standing up, naturally this will be all wrinkled and baggy looking and you'll probably get very worried, but then after about 30 seconds to a minute, it just goes right back to normal again. So I've seen some people asking about the clamp for his, stand. Is it going to damage the suit like it did with Superman and maybe a few other characters out there with similar kind of material? I'd be very careful with it. Maybe reinforce that padding somewhat if you can with some black kind of foam. Or, he does stand up really well by himself. Figure out a way to just maybe give him a regular old groin grabber to keep him up. But he does stand up pretty good. If you've got like a D12 cabinet or something and it doesn't, you don't get earthquakes or, dogs running into your display cabinets or whatever the hell's going to happen to make them fall over. As long as nothing's going to disturb him, he should stand up just fine by himself. Saying that, he just fell backwards. So, awkward. Here's the instant kill eyes, which we didn't know we were getting until this came out in Hong Kong and the blogger pictures were released and we saw them. Some of us thought they would kind of had a light up feature. That was just some Photoshop trickery. They have a nice effect to them. I've got the torch on the camera right now just to shine into those eyes. Try and get them to light up a little bit. Let me just turn this off. Ooh, they do look a little bit glowy, don't they? It's quite a cool effect. Let me go ahead and turn off the main light. Yeah, that is quite a cool effect. They do look like they're glowing. I think there's some kind of paint effect around the initial sort of red in the center. A little paint effect to make it look like it's glowing. That is pretty sweet. Just put them a bit further back. Well, yeah, I mean, if I can find the right kind of aggressive stance for him, or some kind of perched look with his kind of hands all aggressive, then maybe this could be a sweet display option. But certainly cool that they gave him, instant kill mode achieved. Thank you, Hot Toys. The cool thing about being able to interchange the eyes is you can come up with your own little thing, like a cheeky little, maybe he's just making a joke here, or you could pose him up with someone else. I'm thinking Deadpool. And, because one eye is wide, the other one's slightly squinting. He's getting there. You can get a squintier eye than that. But I thought that would be a little too extreme. Maybe it looked like he's winking at you. But it is nice that you can mix and match and come up with your own kind of attitude for your pose. I do like that. You could always... Right, so I think what's going on with these is the ones that come on him don't have a hole for the webbing to go through when you want to pose him like he's shooting a web. And then the other spare ones that I had, they have a little hole there that this can go through. But it does make it kind of point upward like that instead of going straight out. But maybe the weight of the attachment that I'm going to put... Where is it? Did it again. Let's go ahead and put those arms up like this. Now he's a little bit surprised or caught off guard. Just a great figure though, guys, seriously. Those of you who are getting this, get ready to be happy. This is a good Spider-Man figure. This is a very, very good Spider-Man figure. It just looks fantastic. I can't wait until all the filming, the videos is done, and I just get to enjoy him looking over on the shelf and just see him standing there behind, well, in front of the box. I think it'll look really cool on the shelf in here. Okay, yeah, so that goes on the end of that, and then the weight, that looks pretty natural actually. So that's pretty cool. Let me go ahead and put this on him. Alright, well, there it is. I never really use these, to be honest. I always think they kind of make the figure look a little bit silly. You're just not really ever going to be able to convey that effect. It's nice that they do it, but still, it's basically the same kind of effect that the Sam Raimi figures had. I'll just go ahead and squirt you right in your face, Toby. Oh, that sticky goo. Whoops, came off. Want some more? Point blank. Yeah, right in your face. Just doing a pose like this to show you that's the kind of posture I like him to be in. Kind of a leaning forward, aggressive kind of stance. But you're going to end up with kind of unsightly creases like that one there. I've tried to kind of stretch out the suit, kind of take that down a notch, but that's the way it's going to look. It's not too pretty. The midsection ain't too bad. There's a nice bit of give in the suit. But for the people, you know, complaining about wrinkles in the suit or whatever it was they were complaining about, I really didn't read it, but you have to expect something, you know. It's a fully posable 1/6 scale figure, so you're going to get some wrinkles. They are a bit ugly, so it's a matter of finding that pose that kind of tones it down a little bit. But he still looks great. I love it. No complaints here. They are definitely getting better at making Spider-Man figures, because the material on these original suits is not going to hold up over time forever. I mean, that's a totally different kind of suit. But the black one, they improved some things, but I'm getting some weird things happening down here, like on his foot there. See the way that's kind of rotting away on his toe? And see, some of the webbing is kind of rotted away there. That's just, you know, I never really posed this guy too much because I always knew, you know, that the suit may one day just suffer from time. Don't live in a hot country. I live in the UK, so, you know, we get a little bit of warmth in the summertime sometimes. Mostly it's grey, cloudy. But that suit is just, I don't know. Another 10 years time, we'll see how it's holding up. But I don't have high hopes for it. Whereas this one, it's definitely tougher. Much more kind of like, a bit more like Black Panther's kind of outfit, but that's not 100% indestructible either. Black Panther, put him in a slightly extreme pose, or even just stepping forward slightly on his base and leave him like that for a month or two. You try, you know, put him standing up straight again, and his suit's taking a little bit of damage. You can see that in my best figures of 2017 video. I did include him, but I did point out that over time I've noticed some little issues with Black Panther, and I wouldn't be surprised if something similar could happen here. I mean, the instruction manual literally tells you not to pose him in extreme poses for too long. Here we go. Do not excessively bend the arms and legs for prolonged periods of time, otherwise the costume will be damaged. Not might be damaged, will be damaged. Don't rub or wipe the body with thinner. Do not place or store the magnet parts near battery, computer, credit cards, or other electronic devices. You can go ahead and pause this if you want. I'll let you see the rest of the manual. You can just pause it as you wish. You can read that. one. Alright, there's that bit. And this section, I didn't actually get these accessories, so it doesn't apply to me. Oh, what we got here? More instructions. The usual stuff. Don't, have the head pressed down against the neck when you're turning it. Point it upwards, kind of like looking up at the sky slightly before you go turning the head. And yeah, use a magnet to change the eyes. And some advice about bending the arms. And some accessory information there. That was boring. And here he is with Black Panther, because there's a lot of similarities here as far as materials and issues with wrinkling when you pose them up. And you can see there, same situation as over here with Spidey. The midsection, pretty much the same as well. So, I mean, these guys both have the same kind of issues when it comes to wrinkling in the suit, but what are you going to do, man? I mean, people want to be able to pose it. If they had have done something a bit more stiff and strict to the body, and you weren't able to pull off any of the poses, then people would have been really upset about that. So, I don't know. I'm happy. Just letting you know, it's quite a similar situation between these two. Yeah, so we got these two crazy kids together. Whoa! And just one last little shot of Deadpool and Spider-Man standing together, because I think it looks cool. I'd love to see these two pair up in a movie. I'm sure Wade Wilson would have plenty to say to little Peter Parker. Pollute his young, clean mind with filth. That I gotta see. Alright, well, there they are. Looking good together. So with the old and the new Spider-Man beside each other, it really is night and day, both in design and execution. I have a feeling this one will hold up better over the years. Really nice, tough material, but definitely allows for plenty of movement. Gonna get some wrinkles, but that's just how it is if you want the full posability. Overall, the technology, the materials they're using are definitely better than the ones they were using back when they made this guy. Because even though the webbing seems to be holding up just fine, it just gets a bit baggy and saggy in places over the years. Like the sleeves may not look too bad to you on camera right now, but when I was just standing them up and trying to get them to stand up without a base, which is basically impossible now because just the ankles are so loose. And I just don't think these are going to hold up in another 10 years from now. I think it will probably start to look kind of waff. There's this one. Might surprise us. But there's the two of them side by side. Alright folks, it's time to wrap it up with my final thoughts on the figure. Don't want the review to be any longer than an hour. I don't know how long it's going to end up being, but it feels like I've done about 45 minutes at least. A fantastic figure. Probably the best Spider-Man figure we've had from Hot Toys to date. I know there have been some really good ones, and there's two that I've never seen in person. That's the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and the second film as well. Both the Andrew Garfield figures I have not seen in person. I've heard good and slightly bad things about them. But this just seems like the best one to date. I mean, just look at the proportions as he comes around. I mean, you saw earlier how good that Tom Holland head sculpt looks on this. The suit is really well done. Any kind of lines or wrinkles you get from poses, as long as you stretch them out again and get them standing up straight, they'll work themselves out again. They'll look good. I can't recommend it enough to Spider-Man fans, genuinely. I've got no reason to tell you any BS. I got this from Tim Cent on eBay the day it was released for a pretty damn fair price. And I was really happy with it. I would definitely recommend you guys jump on this, and if you haven't already, try and get those pre-orders in. I'm not too sure how easy that's going to be. I heard some rumors this guy's selling out quick. There's the back, the spider logo. I love the hand sculpts. I love the way the hands mix with the suit. They don't look really kind of obviously different like they did on the old ones. Really, really nice. I may not have done as many poses in this review as I really intended to in the first place. It's been a long day, and I'm going to tackle some more poses for you tomorrow, do a little pose session. That way I can take my time. Once the pressure's off and the review is on the channel, then I can sort of breathe easy and start to have some fun with this thing. But everyone keeps asking, where's the review, where's the review? So you've got to get that done. But I would give him a... well, I got the normal version. If it was the deluxe version, I probably would have said a 9 out of 10. I'd still be tempted to say 9 out of 10 with this normal package as well. Posability is great, the suit is really well done, proportions look good. The head sculpt of Tom Holland, as I've said a million times, is fantastic. And he comes with some great accessories. I love the box art, really nice to display. 9 out of 10. Absolutely great piece. And get ready to be happy if you have him on the way. Alright, thanks for watching. Stick with me, subscribe. I'll bring you some more stuff soon. Oh, I've just got word from Kitchen at 1/6 Kit that Tomb Raider 1/6 scale deluxe figure is coming really soon. So that should be one of the first reviews on that piece. It's based on the Angelina Jolie likeness. So that should be interesting. Alright, I'll see you soon. Take it easy.